Well, hi there, it's Mike here. I'm a OK sailor at Black Rock, and there's something I just want to share with you that I had a fabulous experience last Saturday. After having watched the Aero Worlds and other races from the vantage point of the crash boat, I learned something that became very evident in my sailing performance. That was the ability to tack correctly and to jibe efficiently. And I was reading this book about training with purpose. So last Saturday I went down to the club and I said, I'm going to go out and do about 50 tacks and about 200 jibes and see what happens. And it was a lovely calm day, about probably a maximum of about 10 knots, so it was a perfect day for that. Anyway, as I'm rigging up, Mark Jackson is rigging up, also a renowned champion, as we all know, and a qualified coach. So I said, hey Mark, I've come down here today to learn how to tack and jibe. He said, oh good. I said, would you mind if I went out to say about 10 boat lengths in front of you and you go off behind me on the work out to sea and I'll try to cover you. And every time you tack, I'm going to tack to keep you behind me. So we got on the water and did that and had a bit of a sail around for a while. And as Mark and I got in position, I was about 10-15 boat lengths ahead of him, and we started out on port tack with him directly behind me, and there was not much difference in he wasn't gaining ground because he was in my dirty air. So obviously he tacked away onto starboard to get clear, and so I immediately tacked on top of him, and our boat speed was about the same. And the funny thing was though, that after 5 tacks he was closing in on me significantly, and after 10 tacks he had made up the whole difference, and as I tacked onto starboard, we're about to collide. And this was only after about probably 10 tacks and about say 10 or 15 minutes on the water. So we stopped and had a bit of a chat, and Mark gave me some tips on how to tack a bit more efficiently, and one was to just duck forward as opposed to duck under the boom. As we know, the OK has a fairly low boom, so you've got to learn to duck and otherwise get clobbered. And so I tried that, and also to let the boat roll to windward over me before tacking. It's called roll tacking because the boat's not going to come out on top of you. I got to sort of nurse my knees a bit because I can't leap around the boat like I used to as a youth, but they're getting better, so I can be a bit more mobile these days. Anyway, after we set off again, and a similar thing happened, but it took longer so for him to catch me because I'd improved a little bit, only a little bit, and so after that little thing we had a more chat, and I just sort of consoled myself that hey, this is where the ground is made up by the good sailors, or where I keep on losing ground. And so we headed off out to sea and just went for a fairly long sail together out on starboard tack. Mark was 10 boat lengths up to my weather, and funny enough, our boat speed was about the same. Probably lost maybe 2 boat lengths in 15 minutes sailing, but then we came round to jibe and come back. So I jibed, and Mark was just behind me, and I started sailing by the lee and sailed across him and holding him actually. And then I jibed, or he jibed, and I said I better jibe back on top of him, and or just stay with him. And my jibe was shit house and his was perfect. So another couple of boat lengths went down the drain because I tried to jibe by using my tiller as opposed to pulling the boom across and keeping the boat direction in the right place. So what I learnt from all this was that there are techniques to tack and jibe which will improve one's performance significantly, a boat length at a time almost. And if 10 or 15 jibes and tacks occur in a yacht race, that's 10 or 15 boat lengths. So and coupled with that mark rounding and all the other things where we lose another couple of boat lengths to the good guys, I'd only commend to people if they go out and do some practice tacking and some practice gybing, and the message is to train with a purpose and see the improvement. Anyway, that's my tip for this week, and hope that you can get something out of this. Bye now.